So in this video, I want to talk about being anxious and angry because of your PhD research. And this is a response to somebody that wrote a comment on one of my videos. So if you don't know me, I am Professor Dave Massock. I'm Associate Professor of Innovation Strategy and Entrepreneurship, and I created this whole reciprocity project to give back as much as I possibly can. There's so many people that help me out that I want to pay the favor for to help you out. So this one person wrote, after being in a PhD program, I am so fed up, anxious and angry all the time, and burnt out. And that's all I'm going to write with that. So if this did benefit you, and it doesn't matter who it is, make sure that you leave some comments below. And so I do have one rule. If I answer a question that, for you on this channel, just go do something nice to somebody else. That's all I want you to do. And whether it's helping out with this reciprocity project, or going and helping your neighbor, for example, or you're calling up your grandmother or something along those lines, just go do that and let us know how it goes. And I think everybody kind of wants to know that. So, the one thing that I've learned is that the research process, just research in general, makes you very anxious and very angry. I feel like that all the time, and I think that this is very symptomatic of the profession that is doing this, and I think it's very real, and I don't think that anybody needs to discount that, and anybody that's in the profession will know that how you feel, we all feel like this, and we all have this sort of competitive nature, I guess, where you're supposed to feel that you're supposed to publish these results all the time. So this is what ends up happening, right? So you feel that you have to get everything right, and then you realize that you can't do that thing, and then you get frustrated and upset, and you realize that you are far behind everybody else, which is, partly true, but partly not true, and then everything that you do feels unhappy, and it doesn't feel that good. And to be honest, I actually think it's very much the competitive nature behind research that I think is not healthy. And I think almost everybody that has been in the profession a long time will talk to you about that, the sort of competition behind it. It is not healthy, and it doesn't drive very good behaviors across the board. I think this is something that we need to work on as a profession. And so if you feel unhappy, I think that is what a lot of people actually feel. I think the vast majority of the people that are in doing research actually feel like this. So, the question is, how do you actually feel better inside? And this is something that I've been working at myself. I can't say that I'm perfect. I can't say that I am, very good at this, but I have learned how to deal with this. And I think that there's lots of people actually will have these same things, right? So feeling good inside is really, really important for you, and it's important for you to continue on. That's one thing that I do know, is that people that do quit, that go and do other things, that experience a lot of crap. It's because they're not feeling good inside, and the surrounding, like everything, is eating them up. So how do you actually feel good inside? The first thing that I think is the number one thing that everybody needs to do, and I think it should be mandatory with all PhD programs and all research, is just making sure that everybody gets exercise, and that they're walking and they're doing, some form of exercise. That's going to be your number one defense, without, antidepressants and all that kind of stuff. It's going to be your number one defense is getting a lot of exercise, getting some walks, and making sure that it's daily, and it's not, you hear about, taking a day off and stuff like that. I don't think that's actually healthy. I think you need to have some form of exercise every day, whatever that looks like. I work out a lot in the mornings and that kind of stuff, but then I do take a day off, but then I still try to get a walk in or something like that, where I'm doing some good walking for a bit, just to defend myself against that feeling. And you do feel a lot better once you actually do it. I think it's critical to everybody that's in the profession. And frankly, as far as I'm concerned, any profession, I think it should be mandatory to have some sort of exercise regime of some sort. And nobody likes those words these days, mandatory, but I think it is. It should be. All right, so the second thing that you're going to have to do is, and some people are better at this than others, is to ignore the outside world. That is going to be really, really important, is that you kind of get into your little cubby space and you ignore everything else that's going around you. They don't, anybody that is not in academia, they don't understand it. They don't get that sort of pressures that you actually get. And you have to ignore that. But then you also have to ignore everybody else that is in academia as well. You have to get into your own little space. And I know that's like people don't want to listen to that, but it is critical for you to maintain your sanity, to ignore that. There's sort of two things that are going to happen, right? The outside world are going to say, what are you doing with your life? You haven't really done anything, especially early on in your PhD, or you're very early on. People are going to say that you're not doing anything. So the first 2 years, they're going to be like all proud and all that kind of stuff. But then after that, after year two, they're going to be like, you're not done yet? What are you doing with yourself? Guaranteed that's going to happen, and you're going to experience that. And then, the other thing that's going to happen if you interact with other academic folks, they're going to say, well, I've got this done. How come you're not done this? Or I've been working all the time and I've done this particular thing. And you know what? It's a load of horse crap. It's because they're insecure, and that's why they're actually saying that. They're making you feel bad by raising themselves up, right? It's sort of the status thing. And so you have to recognize that. And so that's why I try to distance a lot, because it's a sort of stressful thing that you're going to feel. And you're just going to make you feel angry and anxious inside. So, just get into that cocoon and just be, happy with who you are. So something that's really important, I think. So the third thing, and I know that this is like a hard pill to swallow, but if there's somebody that's putting pressure on you and it's somebody that is close to you, whoever it is, you need to distance yourself from that person. Whether it's your supervisor, whether it is a significant other, whether it is a parent, whether it's another professor, and they're putting on this pressure, unnecessary pressure on you. You already have that pressure on you. You don't need to have that. So what's happening there, and I guarantee, 9 times out of 10, I guarantee this is what's happening. They're feeling anxious, they're feeling angry, and so they're projecting all of that anger and anxiousness onto you. And then you feel worse because of that. And so they don't need to be in your life. You need to really distance those people from your life. And I know that's going to be hard, but I think that's critical. Distance. So if it's somebody that you really need to work with, you got to have those hard conversations. And if they're still not getting it, you really need to distance yourself. Your sanity is worth a lot more than that relationship. Frankly, it just is, and it takes a lot to sort of get through all of that kind of stuff. And you're going to go through it, and guarantee you're watching this because of this at this moment, and just realize that you need to figure out a way to distance yourself. The fourth thing is, don't feel bad about quitting. I feel like don't feel bad about thinking about quitting. And I feel like that all the time. I want to quit all the time on a daily basis. And I think a lot of people actually feel like this. You need to remind yourself that you can quit at any time, and you can sort of have those alternatives and stuff. So just have a plan for how that looks like, what's that going to be, and really think about what does that mean for you. And if that's the case, then sort of pursue it and start working along those lines. But for most of us, you think about it and you're like, what would I do? And then you don't really have a good option, and so you can sort of continue with that. And so I would continue to explore and think. I think that's healthy. I think that's good decision making for you to explore and think of different alternatives and going in different directions. I think it's nonsense to say that you can't go in something because of it's stigmatized. I hate that stuff. I think that's nonsense. You should sort of just look into it, right? and see what it's like. And I think sometimes you'll find it's better, and sometimes you'll find it's worse. So just really be wise with that. And the last thing is, you need to remember to decide to love yourself and to love your work. I know that this is like so, it's so willy-nilly. It's so like, there was the Canadian one, it's called Fred Penner, but what's the American version of, Mr. Dress Up was what I grew up with, Canadian version of, what's the guy with the neighborhood, the neighborhood, that guy. I'm totally blanking on the guy's name. Anyways, you have to really decide to want to love yourself. And once you decide to do that, it's a choice, right? And then you're going to start working towards that and working towards like actually doing things that are going to help you out. And you're going to get up and go for a walk right now. If you're watching this, or you're going to decide to smile right now, smile. Like, I think those things are incredibly small, but it's a choice, and you can let everything drag you down and let it be the worst experience that you've ever had, or you can let it enjoy the process and giggle when you're going through this kind of stuff. Like, it looks stupid, right? Like, I think this whole, we have to be perfect, and everybody is all of it. It's just nonsense. Look stupid. Have the courage to look stupid, to smile, and to be okay with who you are. So with that, go act silly, go do fun stuff, and see what happens. All right, take care, and good luck with all of this. I know it's hard to do. I talk about it a lot, so it matters. It matters to me, and So just just do good stuff, and be happy with yourself. All right, give me one of these if you enjoyed this video. All right, take care and have a wonderful day. Bye bye.